I think Khamzat with DDP will be next. Who knows when that's gonna be?
He does the craziest shit and somehow he lands. Or somehow he'll miss some punches.
Stubborn. He's stubborn, man. It's even funny to watch. I give him all the respect. He's so good at what he does, no matter what. What did I say before? Like, he's the best fighter in the world. But somehow he makes it look good.
Marab's kind of like the same way. Even Bilal.
Nah, Marab strikes better.
It's the mixing of the fight.
Yeah, mixing. In MMA, there's always phases. Like, there was a phase where the strikers were on top. So it's a trend. And then people see enough tape. We know how to handle this now. Now we have to reshuffle the deck.
I'm not sure. I'm still leaning towards Dricus because of the experience I have with training with both the guys. I just don't see Khamzat finishing him early. And I see Dricus building in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I see him edging it out.
The grappling match that you had with Khamzat, what did you think of grappling against him?
He's tough, strong. He was like a submission only, and I just wanted to not give him submission, just to be a draw.
Was he as tough as you expected?
Yeah, he's tough.
How much do you think he weighed in that?
He was 98 kilos.
Israel Adesanya might have had issues with Dricus Du Plessis before, but that didn't prevent him from giving credit where credit is due. With a potential showdown against Khamzat Chimaev on the horizon, Adesanya complimented DDP's growth and even issued a veiled warning to Khamzat. In spite of the fiery history between them, Israel Adesanya caught many off guard when he publicly complimented Dricus Du Plessis in advance of a possible fight with Khamzat Chimaev. Adesanya credited DDP for recent performances, stating that although they've traded insults in the past, he has no problem with admitting when somebody's getting something right. He also suggested that Chimaev might be overlooking Dricus, quietly suggesting that there is a threat in the latter's gangly-looking style, a killer of an opponent who has consistently delivered on the grandest of stages.
I think Khamzat with DDP will be next. Who knows when that's gonna be?
He does the craziest shit and somehow he lands. Or somehow he'll miss some punches.
He's stubborn, man. It's even funny to watch. I give him all the respect. He's so good at what he does, no matter what. What did I say before? Like, he's the best fighter in the world. But somehow he makes it look good.
Marab's kind of like the same way. Even Bilal.
Nah, Marab strikes better.
It's the mixing of the fight.
Yeah, mixing. In MMA, there's always phases. Like, there was a phase where the strikers were on top. So it's a trend. And then people see enough tape. We know how to handle this now. Now we have to reshuffle the deck.
Renier de Ridder, who has trained with both Khamzat Chimaev and Du Plessis, also weighed in, and he's going with DDP. Testifying from personal experience, de Ridder was impressed with Dricus's body and his discipline, as opposed to Chimaev's aggression. He made the comment that although both fighters offer something different, Du Plessis may have the longer-lasting approach in a 5-round battle, coming from someone who's experienced both their power on the mats. His opinion brings depth to the argument.
I'm not sure. I'm still leaning towards Dricus because of the experience I have with training with both the guys. I just don't see Khamzat finishing him early. And I see Dricus building in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I see him edging it out.
Brendan Schaub also chose DDP, attributing it to what he referred to as the intangible chaos Du Plessis introduces into the octagon. On his program, Schaub discussed how Chimaev has never had to deal with someone who breaks down the mold and makes fights sprint like chaos. Schaub's comments lent further credence to the list of esteemed voices cautioning that this fight is not at all one-sided.
UFC came out, speaking of dingers, UFC came out with some freaking bombs.
Really?
They announced Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, Khamzat, DDP in Chicago.
Khamzat, DDP.
Who you got in that? Let's start with that. Khamzat, DDP, who you got?
I got
a feeling DDP wins that.
I have Khamzat.
I don't.
Yeah.
If Khamzat can get done the first round and a half, maybe, I just think that thing goes past the 3rd and DDP takes over. I think he TKOs him.
I think Khamzat is a better striker, and I think Khamzat's a better wrestler, and I think DDP is a killer. But I think it's Khamzat's time.
Could be totally off on Khamzat. He's a minus 200. Dude, take my fucking money.
Really? You got DDP?
Yes. Especially as a dog. I figured it'd be the favorite.
I have to say,
I figured DDP would be like a minus 150. Well, Khamzat, I look at the Gilbert Burns fight. You look at the Kamaru Usman fight. You're like, okay.
Yeah, but he did out wrestle Kamaru a lot.
Even Robert Whittaker, who had a taste of Dricus' strength, didn't rule his hopes out. He even warned in a cautious way that Du Plessis is a special danger that Khamzat hasn't ever faced before. Whittaker mentioned DDP's capability of receiving shots and continuing to throw bombs at full force, his aggressive forward advance, and his unwillingness to allow structure to define his style. He wasn't directly selecting Dricus, but his admiration for the South African's efficacy rang throughout the MMA world and validated the notion that this is no mismatch.
I think he beats both of them. I do. I think Dricus would be the harder opponent of Sean and him, just because if Dricus survives, Dricus is just good at surviving, at being there. And if we've seen anything with Chimaev, is that he gets tired committing so heavily to his shot and the grappling transitions early in the fight. So maybe that plays out differently if it gets dragged out later. I don't see him having a problem with Sean though, like at all.
Wow.
Joe Rogan, always willing to provide his opinion, also weighed in with strong accolades for Du Plessis' fighting ability. On his podcast, Rogan characterized Dricus as an unconventional fighter whose technique defies textbook style, but still produces undeniable results. He pointed out how DDP never stays put, presses his opponents relentlessly with pressure, and combines unpredictability with precision timing. In Rogan's view, what Dricus is lacking in flash, he compensates with raw effectiveness, and that may catch someone like Chimaev off guard.
Yeah.
pretty
That's his fight with Dricus is going to be
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Dricus is fucking scary. That's a guy who's so big for 85.
the way he looked against. I counted. I
Whittaker.
didn't give him a fucking chance against Robert Whittaker, and boy was I wrong.
Well, also that's after he got his
got
deviated
his nose
septum
done.
surgery,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I think, it's a big factor.
Yeah.
Being able to breathe out of your nose.
if you can't breathe, you can't fight.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's like Dricus looks awkward when he
Yeah.
fight. He
Yeah.
moves different,
Yeah.
but that movement and that awkwardness makes him difficult to time.
Mhm.
It's like his timing is off.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anybody that can imitate that kind of stutter step motion that he does,
Yeah.
Michael Venom Page also chipped in his opinion of Dricus, noting how unconventional the South African brawler really is. Famous for his own clunky and flashy fighting style, MVP acknowledged that DDP doesn't appear tidy or refined, but manages to win despite it. He made a point to say that clumsiness, when perfected, is a tool, and Dricus has definitely armed himself with it. MVP's words highlight a recurring trend in the community. DDP's not just getting by, hell, he's flourishing with a style most can't train for.
Speaking of Dricus, I saw you said as well, he doesn't impress you that much.
If I had all these guys in my gym, I didn't know any of their history, and I watched him train and he was doing the stuff that I've seen him do in some of his fights, he would not be the person I'd say that would win the belt. It's just messy, but I guess maybe that's just his thing. Yeah, obviously it's his thing, and he just seems to, one thing that is great about him is he just knows how to find the win.
As a response to all the chatter regarding his style of fighting, Dricus Du Plessis finally broke silence and attested to what many had feared. His fighting style is not chaotic by design. He explained that it's a product of meticulously crafted drills and game planning, which is meant to disrupt rhythm and frustrate elite fighters. DDP conceded that all of the off-the-beaten-path maneuvers, all the awkward positions, are intended to cause hesitation and misreads. The unpredictability is really practice chaos, and it's succeeding at the highest levels of MMA.
I've gotten that criticism of my style from my first fight, the very first one. Listen, I give myself a 6, maybe a 6.5 out of 10 for what I think I can do in terms of technique. My style, as ugly as it seems, or as awkward as it seems, that style was developed by us, by my coach, because we saw that as the style to beat your elite strikers, to beat your elite wrestlers. It doesn't look conventional because it isn't. It is a style of the one man who has the title in the middleweight division.
Khabib Nurmagomedov's manager Ali Abdelaziz also got into the fray, commenting on how Du Plessis stacks up against Chimaev. Avoiding going all the way for Dricus, Ali conceded that the South African does present genuine issues. He cited DDP's cardio, toughness, and power as things that might counter Chimaev's explosive beginnings. From a manager who has worked with world-class champions and wrestlers, Ali is being reservedly respectful of Du Plessis, a good indication the bout may be closer than most people think.
Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. How do you feel about this fight? And where do you see this fight?
Remember, Khamzat never have a conditioning problem before this. After COVID, it really messed him up. And I was there. He was bleeding, like throwing up like blood. And he was in Vegas, right? But as far as I know now, he's in Russia. He's in camp. He's focused. It's hard to bet against focus. Help Khamzat. Also, this Du Plessis guy, like the way he wins, how this guy win, like he's just so tough, so durable. He's a warrior. He really is a warrior.
Not everyone feels that way though. Arman Tsarukyan, who has battled directly with Khamzat, wrote off the notion that Dricus might bring serious trouble to the Chechen behemoth. From first-hand experience dealing with Khamzat's ferocity and brute grappling power, Arman thinks Du Plessis won't last if the bout gets to the ground. To him, Chimaev's athleticism and never backing down pace remain one level above anyone DDP has ever fought. His caution wasn't theory, it was battle-hardened rounds.
The grappling match that you had with Khamzat, what did you think of grappling against him?
He's tough, strong. It was a submission only, and I just wanted to not give him submission just to be a draw.
Was he as tough as you expected?
Yeah, he's tough.
How much do you think he weighed in that?
He was 98 kilo.
And evidence from within Chimaev's corner as well. Recently released video from his media camp confirmed that Khamzat appeared razor sharp in training. From brutal takedowns to clean striking, the video indicates he's more intense than ever, demonstrating none of the rust that worried fans. The clips created the image of a fighter who's set for war, not merely physically, but mentally focused. And if that version of Khamzat appears on fight night, the mayhem Dricus creates had better be as sharp as ever. So with Adesanya tipping his cap, analysts analyzing, and Khamzat honing his blades, this tempest is forming quick. Is Dricus' disciplined bedlam sufficient to derail the Chechen freight train? Or will Chimaev roll over another challenger on his path to greatness? You won't want to blink either way. Hit the subscribe button and tune in. We've got all sides covered, all angles analyzed, and all wars dissected here.